Hey, so this video explains how it all works, how to rent an e-scooter from HFX e-scooters, and how to have a great ride. So the first thing you need to do is search for the HFX e-scooters app. You need to download our app and set it up with a bank card or a credit card that can do online transactions. So when you get the app and your account set up, you open up the app and you'll see a map of Halifax, and you can zoom into any location on that map, and scooters will start to appear on the map, and those tell you that the scooters are there and available and that they're deployed. If you don't see any scooters on the map, there's no scooters deployed, or they're not available. They're all being rented. The other important thing about what you see on that map in the app is you'll see a green area. The green area is important because this is the geofence. You need to stay inside the geofence. If you go outside the geofence, you'll hear an alarm. It says you're outside the geofence. You'll need to get back inside the geofence. The throttle will get disabled, so you'll have to push it manually to get back inside the geofence. All right, now if we come over to one of our scooters here, the first thing you're going to do when you open up the app and you want to rent a scooter and you found one is to click the unlock button on the app. And every scooter has a QR code on the top of the handlebar, and you're going to want to scan that code, and it'll tell you how much battery is left on that scooter, and you can decide whether or not you want to rent it. If you want to go ahead and rent it, you'll click go. The speedometer will come on, you'll hear a beep, and you're renting by the minute. There's a throttle on the right. Now this throttle won't work until you give it a bit of a manual push. So give it a bit of a manual push and start to feather down the throttle, and you'll see it'll start to work. The other side, of course, is the brake. You will want to lift up the kickstand when you're riding. Now when you want to end your trip and stop renting, it does keep track of how many minutes that you're riding. You need to take it back to a designated parking location. So you can find that also in the app. On the main screen, if you hit the little P on the bottom right, you will see the blue P parking locations show up in Halifax, and you can drop your scooter off at any one of those parking locations without getting a little fine. For example, here on the waterfront, this is probably our most popular parking location. All you have to do is come in that area, get close to that parking location that you see on the map, and then click end trip. When you click end trip, it'll give you a total, how many minutes you've been riding, you can confirm, and that's how you stop renting. It is important that you enable location services for the app, for the HFX e-scooters app. That helps us determine where you are and if you're at a valid parking location. One thing we want to talk about here is the three different speed modes that are available. So we're going to zoom into the top of the handlebar here, and right below the speedometer you will see a blue D. In this case, the D represents medium speed, medium power, medium torque. If you double press the black button on the top here, you'll see that it switches it over to an S. The S, think of it as sport mode. It will get you to the top speed quicker. It'll provide more power, more torque. You may actually need to be in sport mode to get up some of our hills in Halifax, but just be aware that when you're in medium mode or S sport mode, it does take more battery, so you're going to use more battery to get to where you want to go. If you double press again from the S, you will go into eco mode. So eco is probably best for beginners. You're not going to have a whole lot of power, you're not going to have a whole lot of torque, and it definitely won't get you up some of our hills. But when you're on eco mode, obviously the range is much better because you're not using as much battery. If you double press again, then you go back to the D. So all you have to do is double press, and you will toggle between the three different speeds. So one more thing or tip I want to mention is about a low battery and the batteries on scooters. If you have a low battery condition, the scooter will end your trip. So it is important that you watch the battery, that perhaps you don't try to pick up or grab a scooter that's anywhere below 20%. It's probably not going to last very long, because at 10% battery, the scooter will end your trip regardless of where you are, and you may get a fine if you're not at a parking location. At 10% battery, the scooter takes itself offline. So if you come down to the waterfront or you find any of our scooters but they appear to be offline, they are offline because of low battery conditions.